What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here at Policing Pips Lobby. on tradecaster.com, on YouTube, all the fun places. Let me know if you're getting any delay or some buffer or whatever. YouTube's talking shit to me and telling me that it's not getting enough data, then it is, and it's not. So it seems like it's okay on my end, but it will bounce back and forth. Just let me know. Looks like we are going to be opening up on these overnight lows. I may not even wait for the open if we start to get like breakouts above these levels. I will give it, just a few more minutes. I would like to see S&Ps sweep the low here, that 56.25, 3/4, and then see what we get. I think, like I said, 760 was the do or die level yesterday. Not do or die in the sense that, if we don't make it there, it's going to do anything drastic. But I felt like 760 was the target, and then any sort of squeeze above it was going to push us right up to 841, which it pretty much did right away. And if you go into our weekly analysis, I have my level here. And I talked about that right there. If we can hold and push up to 760, that's where the sellers may want to step up. But a breakout of that pushes us up to 19,841. And when we look at yesterday's, pretty much the close of yesterday, right? We had that slow grind all the way up. I said 760 was going to be a target. You pushed right into it, retested it, and then from, power hour last little bit straight up to 841, where you could see some congestion take place. So the levels are there. Everything is there as far as the analysis goes. It's just a matter of execution, timing, and all that fun stuff. Getting back into the business of being more precise on our timing. Overall, like I said, opening up on lows, opening up below that lower band of VWAP, could look to see if we get an early pop on it. I will be aggressive early if it does start to shoot to the top side. I am going to leave just the overnight low here. Sup, Jofi, how we doing? NVIDIA is selling some. I think it could pop from here as well. Up over 129.12 would be interesting. Hell yeah, good job, Jofi. Good job. Well done. Well done. Well done. I need to pop up another YouTube. There we go. So I can not sit in silence because I go crazy when I sit in silence. Alrighty. Hell yeah, good job. You got that thing activated real quick. As always, remember, don't do dumb shit. We're drinking the Scalper's Delight Dark Roast and a little short squeeze espresso. Always a nice little... I would like that short squeeze right now. So let's see. Maybe the short squeeze espresso will be the push-up today. Oh, it's so good. So good when you have a nice espresso to just start your day, start your trading day off right. Doing it the right way with a little espresso. How we doing? I would like to see this whip it. Right on the open would be like a great little move to just push down and then pop us up over that 20 level. I'm going to be aggressive today. Look to see maybe if I get up over that, up over this level here, buy two, take one off quick, and then see if I can hold for the VWAP. Anything on the juice? Canada CPI, Redbook, actual 4.9. Fed fund rates, obviously the same. Today is Tuesday. Bostic speaks and Bar speak in the afternoon. If you're, need to be aware of those things for if you are in positions. Let's see if we can get going quick here today. Sweep that low and then pop. I want to see, you can see aggressive buyers stepping in already on the Delta. So I would stop by two, literally right on the open here. And then I'll take one off there. Let's see what we can get. I'm just looking to take a long off the overnight low to get the initial sellers out of this. Let's see if I can pop that higher. Take off that first contract. Nope. Legit just trying to take that first little piece off quick. Just doesn't want to get that one off. When that overnight inventory is so short, I like to try and catch that pop really, really early just to take the overnight inventory out. But you can see how whippy it is right now. We are in the money, out of the money, in the money, out of the money, in the money, out of the money. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to just below this candle here. I'm only going to risk $200 on it because that should have took me out on that top. There we go. We got one off. Now we're going to go to even and see how far we can take it. Secured $100 on it. We're up 200. I'm going to go up candle to candle on this. This is just purely based on opening right on the overnight low. Very whippy price action there. I think we could recover a lot of this all the way up. 841 is a key level for me to be interested in, so I do want to kind of see if we could clear 841. If we could clear this level, there we go. Clearing 841 nice and clean. I want to see if I could secure a little bit more of this. I'm going to go below 40, and we're out. So look at that. Nice, clean, quick move right off the jump. If you are in this game for any period of time and you've noticed some of what we do here, if I note if we are going to open on overnight lows, I'm going to take that shot almost every single time. This time I took it aggressively. In the past, I've been a little bit more cautious on it, but I've noticed that every time we open on an overnight low after a nice extended day to the upside, we're in an uptrend. The overnight inventory is short. Do I think that we can get all the way to VWAP? I do believe that that's possible, but 841 was a key level for me to think about. Now I think that we can play with 841, possibly sweep back below overnight lows, and then continue to the upside. If it just goes straight up, I'm still okay with securing where I believe there's going to be some interested parties. Like I said, I'm quick. I'm in. I'm out. You know, if I was in my XFA, I'd be done for the day, right? Up 419, one trade in under a minute, or let's call it 2 minutes. I was in that trade for the opening bell, and that's it, right? So that's how you do that real quick. Hopefully you were on right at the open, ready to go, because that's what I was looking to do there. So we copied that across three, gave ourselves a little bit of breathing room in these other ones. I'm not going to be done yet because these are combines. I am going to start to look to pass these by the end of the month, or hopefully, maybe by the end of this week, pass a couple, then pass a few more, be fully funded for the actual good trading months of September, October, November, December, and beyond, and look to capitalize on those profits. I think once we clear 41 and we hold this, I do think VWAP is likely. You are going to run into this, resistance here from the overnight bounce play, flush, right? We flushed it. We bounced from overnight lows, and now we are rallying back to the upside. S&P's is pushing into previous day highs right here. And the previous day high for the NQ is a little bit higher and a little bit further off. NVIDIA did get up over 129.12, so there's a good rejection point for this to start to kind of chop around a bit. You can see NVIDIA right here rejecting 129.12, which could in turn lead to some rejection around that 841 level, and there might not be good clean follow through. Just let's keep an eye on it. If you did catch any of that move, or you liked how that move was played out in that first minute, kind of how we explained it, what I thought was going to happen, just kind of based on where we were at the open right then and there. You could still be in this if you take, a few contracts. Let's say you take that on 3 contracts, or you take it on 5 minis or 5 micros or something, where you're going to shed up all along the way. If you shed out, right, let's say you take this on 5 micros and you take off maybe 2 at 30, 2 at 41, or 1 at 41, then you have the rest at break even. You can let the rest of the micros run, see where you end up with that, to kind of see if you're going to clear up through previous day highs. See if you can get up into that 900 level. 900 is a key strike psychological level, so there is reason to believe that this white line right here does get tagged off on. But for me, like I said, we've been in a losing streak a bit, so if I'm going to go ahead and take my profits, secure something like that, and I did it. You got 200 times 3, baby. That's all that matters. You got a piece of the pie. You can't expect to get the whole thing. Let that runner ride, Jofi. Is that on the funded accounts? This is right here. This is A plus strategy right here. This is where you leverage in. Hell yeah, Jovi. Well done, dude. Love it. So everybody knows how many micros did you go in with and how much are you up on just micros, just so people could really see the power of how much micros are. Because I know that you're up pretty, you would be very satisfied with kind of what he's going to say here. If you're in long, I mean, you didn't go long from the low, but you're up 25 points. Oh, maybe you were in from the low. You went 3 from what price point? $31. So in 3 from 31, out, 25 points. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching this. Sorry. So overall, up probably 100 plus ish on that move with just a couple micros. It is 50 cents a micro times 4 times 25. It's $50 plus a runner. So you're close to $100 ish. If you got in at the low with that 3 micros and you did the same type of deal, you're probably up, another 10 points. You're up over 100 on 2 contracts. Power of micros, people. There's no need to leverage into the minis if you're not ready. I think you could easily make a really good killing with those minis. You can see NVIDIA now trying to creep back to 129.12. That's a really important level there. See if it flushes it. If it's going to flush, then watch out for the overnight lows to come back in. We did tag VWAP. S&P's is at the previous day high. NQ never made it to the previous day high, but we noted yesterday that we weren't quite getting to the levels in the NQ because the S&Ps were leading us to their levels and kind of just beating us there. Microsoft breaking through highs at 422.51. So as Microsoft gets a bid, NVIDIA starts to sell off. So you might get some stagnation here in the NASDAQ based on the two diverging. If NVIDIA starts to catch a bid along with Microsoft, I would anticipate this to rally to overnight highs. If Microsoft starts to fail along with NVIDIA, then you're going to get the rotation to the downside. I do still think that we are. I mentioned in my write-up, I mentioned yesterday, I've mentioned Friday, I believe. If we get up over 760, when you start to hold above this 760 level, you're going to rotate to all-time highs at some point, and it's going to be before that rate decision by September 18th. Do I think it's going to happen today? No. Will it likely happen kind of soon? Maybe this week? All-time highs is a little bit ways away. That's 20,983. I called kind of the upside of this week into 20,000, maybe just over 20,000, up to 20,100. If we get frisky, 20,273. That's if that unemployment numbers come out, as expected as well. It's going to be the buy the rumor, sell the news. I pretty much think that once that rate cut comes in September, if they do go for that rate cut, you're going to see the extreme greed push in. You might get a capitulatory top and then wait for that pullback to come in for the NQ and the S&Ps. Notoriously, we're going to be getting a rate cut into election season with two kind of big uncertainties. The rate cuts tend to lead to sell-offs. Counterintuitive because the market's pricing in these rate cuts by pushing it to the high side. By the end of the day, once that rate cut comes, it's going to be a reprieve. It's going to be not enough or whatever it is. It's too late, and there's just going to be no reason but that everybody's greedy trying to buy the tops with the rate cut, and they're going to get sold off and melt their face off a little bit before they end up rallying again. If anybody has any hesitation to trade micros, Jofi is funded. He's one of the funded traders that comes into the lobby quite a bit. talks about his trading on a day-to-day basis, and he is up $500 today, including the overnight session because he's out in Dubai. He has made $500 in just trading micros. So the power of micros is there. You're able to really capitalize on movements when it comes to smaller size, allowing some of these things to play out. Much of my strategy, I'm able to manage my risk a lot with a mini, but there is a benefit to allowing some of the runners to play out that you can capitalize on micros if you're not quite ready to kind of take your paper cut losses over and over and over again. And then even if you get into drawdown, you could always dig yourself back out through micros with a much wider a risk buffer to be able to kind of play through that. But let's say something like this that we played right here on the open, if you wanted to take that, say, with half size or even with same size and be able to hold on to some runners, right? If you take it with 20 micros instead of 2 full minis, you could take off 5, 10, 15 on the way up and still have 5 for a runner safely and comfortably with, that's a half of a contract, but it's still able to continue building you because every 2 micros is $1 per tick, right? So you can make your dollars that way. Yeah, I got in really pretty great entry at 22-ish. Let's see. The entry on that was 82250. Right there, 82250 was the long. I wanted that right at basically at the bottom there, but I'm cool with getting text long at 19822.5. So if you haven't been here for that long of a time, or if today's the first time, or if you've been here for a while and kind of don't quite understand why I was considering this long, I was considering the long as a from that open pretty quickly. Microsoft is selling through 42251. Just be cautious, Jofi. If it does crack and start to push below 422.28, I would maybe think that this starts to push down to that 50. If you start to squeeze back up over previous day highs again, maybe you get a chance to do that. Nvidia is rejecting 129.12, I should say. 47 is your stop. Yeah, I mean, it is one runner on a micro, so I like this for a rejection of our previous day high, rejection of VWAP, rotation back to the downside. I just don't think the timing is quite there at the moment. I think we could wait, maybe for another rotation back through that previous high, see if it's going to fail it again and then play it. S&P is still up over. Yeah, it's perfect. Just let it keep going. 15 points in profit, $2, up $30 on it. What are you going to do? We're up 419 at it was basically the first minute of trading. We got stopped out at 41 for the second contract. I'm very quick to trail. I want to see this thing kind of pop and go. If I would have just go candle by candle on the lows, I could have secured myself maybe 5 more points, maybe a little bit more because I would have probably pushed up towards the VWAP. But overall, what I like to do, especially on that opening, range, opening on that low, I like to trail quick and be done. I think 900 even, potentially. There is that chance that 900 just draws us into it. I don't quite trust like the immediate breakdown because Nvidia still is making a higher low. So Nvidia making a higher low and although it broke, I mean, you're still safe. You're good. You're pushing into VWAP, but I would like to see it to 900. That would be, good. Even up into overnight highs. S&Ps tends to lead us of late. So if it cracks through this here, you could expect that NQ to follow. I think maybe 56.41 quarters is going to be the decision point for the sell. So if we are, in this area, and S&Ps is rejecting overnight highs, then maybe they will get the failure. But I didn't think that it was time yet for it. Nvidia and Microsoft both kind of lingering on their highs. They could either break and go and run to the upside, or they could fail and rotate back down. But we are up across 3 of these combines, up 419, which is good. I'm happy with that right now. Not going to look to just pull the trigger on anything. I'm going to be very disciplined today, especially after yesterday calling out pretty much exactly what was going to happen and still max lossing on the combines here, just because of timing issues and a little bit of, not maybe a little oversized, but one of the losses got some slippage, and everything kind of played to against my timing and patience. Remember, don't do dumb shit. DDDS. Right here. Don't do dumb shit. That's the mantra of the room. Everybody knows it. We're out here just trying to maintain capital. Try to do the right thing on a day in and day out basis. Find your setups. Play your setups, right? Because they were both at their overnight low. Because we have this bullish environment that we're in currently. This little uptrend after breaking through that downtrend from the previous CPI. We were in a downtrend since that CPI. This new CPI kind of pushed us back out and pushed us back towards the upside. Anytime you're in an uptrend and you're opening on overnight lows, you tend to get a squeeze on the open. And that, I've noticed, it kind of plays out 70, 80% of the time, where you're able to at least catch what we caught. Do I expect a full rotation every single time? No. But is it likely that we continue to push upside? There is a good chance that upside potential is still out there. Inside rotational day also too, because it's not a high day today. We're still waiting for Jackson Hole on Friday. We have Jay Powell speaking on Friday, Jackson Hole Symposium. You're going to have some, the Federal Reserve meetings, the under the table stuff that they have going on over there. Stuff that I would be keeping in mind, right? And then Thursday, like I said, we have the, the jobless claims, initial jobless claims here. That number right there is going to give you another indication of whether the Fed is seeing strength in the jobs market. Because remember, every time he comes out there, he always says, we have a dual mandate when it comes to the Federal Reserve. It's maximum employment, jobs, all that stuff, along with inflation control. So they are seeing the inflation portion come down. They're waiting to see the jobs number consistently come down, or at least maintain a strong environment. So they don't want to see big unemployment numbers with inflation kind of lingering where it is. They want to see jobs being created, people not losing their jobs, as well as inflation coming down to and around that 2% or even less at this point, just to see where it's at. It's, it is what it is. So that's where you need to watch that number for that day. 900 seems like it wants to come in there, Jofi. You're at 82, 83 right now. Let's see if 90 breaks and then you get to 902. I still think, it could be another day like yesterday where we just steadily grind up. We're not stuck in a tight range. Yesterday we were stuck, not that we were stuck in a tight range, but we were stuck, at that opening area where we were just hitting our head up on it, showing really bullish behavior, and then not breaking out. And that's kind of where I got myself into trouble yesterday. Playing that idea, that thesis, just not, the timing was just off. Maybe if I played it on like 1 micro, I would have been fine. But otherwise, I took 3 shots at it and didn't get through until it finally wanted to rip its face off and go the way we wanted it to go. We just didn't get what we wanted to get out of it. I want to see S&Ps into that 5641. That should push us up over 900. And then you're going to see what happens with 900. 926.75 was my next level up from the 841 level. That's where we tagged off on the overnight. So on the overnight, you tagged off on 926 and then you sold off from there. So these levels are pretty reactive, This level's been drawn up for a while, but you can see that reactive level right there, even on the overnight, coming right into that 926 level, selling off, coming into the 841 level, and then flushing it and rotating right back through 841. Obviously, we're well above it. We're above, previous day highs, which is this blue line. This red line here is technically overnight high, but it's pre-midnight overnight high. So really the overnight high is up here. But watch this. This is a very strong 30-minute candle here for a push to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it to 926 and then look to fail that. So that'd be great to push up into overnight highs and then reject. NVIDIA is rotating back down through 129.12. Right here, you can see NVIDIA through 129.12. Let's see what Microsoft's doing. Oh, that's not, we're on the wrong NQ. We're on the wrong screen. MSFT, there we go. Microsoft pushed up, so you could see a lot of the same type of behavior here on Microsoft as you do on the NQ. So maybe more directly correlated to Microsoft today than we are to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is doing more of a range type dance with its level here at 129. You have pre-market highs and aftermarket highs, pretty much sitting up there at 129, 130. If it doesn't want to accept back above there, I think a rotation back to 126.97 does come. If NVIDIA starts to melt down, then it might start to drag Microsoft with it. And then if Microsoft comes back and retests this 22, you might start to see this pull back some on the NQ. But I don't know if we're going to do any sort of like break of the low of the day type moves. I think steady grind to the high side until the FOMC rate decision. Like if you read my write-ups week in and week out, especially this week, I really think that all-time highs come into play before the 18th of September. So that puts us like in just a steady grind to the upside. Nothing like extreme on the pops. I did mention 20,000 probably by Thursday. There's a chance that 20,000 comes in today. And then let's see. I would have liked to have held this. This is more of a multi-contract trade. I did take my first contract off at the high there. You saw how whippy we were on the open. Most of the time, I don't want to trade the immediate open. But today was a little bit of a different story, right? Because I wanted to catch that bounce right off the jump because the setup was there and it was ideal for that push from the open on that break. Just from overnight lows, the environment we were in, everything we were. You're good for 900, buddy. Beautiful, beautiful hold there, Jofi. Very nice. I don't know where you're trailing to, maybe below this wick of 74, 71, and see if you could squeeze through 900. Squeezing through 900 should push you closer to the overnight highs. Like I said, I think up to 926 probably could be pretty clean, especially with all these bids coming in and people trying to pick tops might create that squeeze like I talked about. That short squeeze espresso worked, right? A short squeeze espresso right on the open helped us out. So got to drink the coffee of the day to kind of work your magic and work with what you want it to happen for the day. Microsoft still kind of dancing around with that 423.40. Didn't quite break it yet. NVIDIA back above 129.12. Maybe it'll start to catch a bit of a bid, push up into 130. That'll squeeze us to the overnight highs. I think you're still good there, Jofi, to hold this through 902. If you squeeze 902.75, overnight highs should be in play. 40 points in profit from 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, right below that wick there. Right below that wick at 72.50. I think that's good. I mean, you should be safe there at the previous day high. You're just below the previous day high, so that's, a safe area because pretty much if we want to continue upside, we should never want to reaccept into the previous day's range. If it's going to be a continuation type trend day, see how long you hold. See what kind of patience you got. See what's going to tell you to get out of this trade, right? Right now you got Delta straight up. Everything here is saying strong buyers are still continuing to step in. Nothing has said, hey, we're ready to sell off. If you start to see the Delta here just give you a big red pullback, then maybe that'll give you an indication. But you're still just pushing straight through these levels. Honestly, even if I held this, I would have only been able to hold for $1,500 on this. I took it out at 41. As I mentioned, I just have to straight through. Absolutely. The analysis is spot on right now. Jofi calling out the bangers. That's why I said we go long here at 19.82250. Jovi asked, are we going to be bullish today? I said, absolutely. I said, I'm bullish on the open. I don't know where it's going to end up, but there's a good chance that overnight low is going to be the low of at least the beginning of the session. And taking that long, getting to it, crushing through. I trailed out my stop at 41, just below 40, got wicked out, and then it continued on upside, which I'm fine with, right? Because of that being a key area for my thinking of maybe there's going to be a flush of the overnight low again. 96 with overnight high here. Don't want to lose 50 points. Nope, absolutely. 96 should keep you away from this 900 level, but at the same time, 900 could just fail, and then that's it because S&Ps just tagged off on overnight highs right there. So note that. See if it's going to reject. If it's going to kind of push, if S&Ps is going to continue to push through, then I think we still got some more upside in the NQ. It's going to get close. It might wick you out because of the way the NQ works, the amount it breaks through levels and comes back. But 900 should stay supportive if it's going to be strong. There's the breakdown of 902, wicking it, holding, it's holding it. I think 92625, 92675 right here, just shy of the overnight high, is that area where you may run into that final boss of a seller. So 92675. Right there. That white line could be the area of, if you get up over that overnight high, throw your stop right there and see what happens. You know, you can't be mad if it goes another 100 points past there because you've caught, from 816 to 916. That's 100 points on the move. You're not up 100 points because you got in a little late, but still, anybody who was in from the call down here at the low talking at how this dynamic works, the clear of that overnight high should get the S&Ps, the NQs up there. I'm going to start looking to fade overnight highs if we get up over that level. So that'll be my next idea. 71% long on the tilt. I do think that at some point we're going to start to get the run into it. So we went VWAP to VWAP there. A single contract nets you $2,000 per contract if you hold from low to high. Pretty much where we're at right now. I think we have a little bit more to go. Maybe there's got a couple more legs in it. NVIDIA is trying to be bullish. I think it has up to 130 to be precise. There's NVIDIA on the squeeze. You should still be safe, Jofi. This should push us up. NVIDIA looking to break high of the day right now. NVIDIA just broke high of day or just ticked it to the top of the day there. It did not make a new high. It was one penny over. 129.75 is still high of the day on NVIDIA, but it is pushing up strong, so this should continue on. Keep it going. Keep it going. NVIDIA pushing straight up. Microsoft also pushing upside. I think you're going to get a squeeze action kind of coming in here. Everybody always says if you're in, you're never in big enough. There it goes. NVIDIA just squeezed through. You should get a push through the high of the day. Push through overnight highs with that squeeze on NVIDIA. If not, then I would be surprised. You're never big enough when you're in, and you're never small enough when you're wrong. So, up 90 points. We called that long from the bottom. Very good kind of call out, read of the market dynamics here today so far. Yeah, absolutely, Zuki. That's great. Just be cautious up here. Like I said, NVIDIA ran that high and then now is selling off through that level. Never made it to 130. So just understand that part there. You may start to see this support here kind of start acting as an area where it might want to wedge up in through here. If you get a nice little wick off high of the overnight high, you could potentially look to fade it. Just on a quick pullback, I don't think you would expect a nice full 100-point move again. rotate back the other direction. But you never say never in this game. If you're down below 900, you want to hope that this holds this trend, continues to push up, kind of straight up type deal here. Microsoft's still strong, pushing up over high of day, continuously making new high of day. Microsoft has a ways to go before it wants to run into any sort of resistance. I think up to 424.88 for Microsoft. If it does want to push up 424.88 all the way up to 427 for Microsoft, so could continue this straight squeezing. But Nvidia just got a heavy seller to break in. So Nvidia got a heavy seller pushing right into 129.12 here. There's Nvidia for you. You do see this support right there, kind of running into that area. So you crack this level, watch for that flush, and then that would rotate into our NQ. Jofi probably safe for now until it cracks that white line. And you can see on the 30-minute chart there, running right almost up into 926 and just not quite making it there and rotating just below it. And that's the seller stepping in, and then you're out. There you go. Good trade there, Jofi. Well done. Go to bed. I think you're not going to get anything better than what just happened as far as the day is concerned. Now you're going to get a lot of dancing around. 68.5 points for those of you who don't know how to keep score. 68 points times 4 plus 2, because he had 2 ticks on that, times 50 cents. In 1 micro, you're getting $130 out of that. So, kabooyah. I'm going to delete this. Absolutely. Money rejection. Perfect level. Yeah, that's why I kind of, with that, the way last night reacted, that level was right there, the high of the body of the 2 30-minute candles. That 923 was a good area. I wanted to see rejection of 926, but didn't quite make it there anyway. Got to 924... 925. It got just shy of 926, so pretty good. Levels matter, baby. Levels matter. It's all about levels in this game, especially if you can simplify everything down to just being levels. It's a really important part of my trading, of anybody who's trading and doing this in a way that's a little bit more defined and not so just patterns all the time, no levels, no nothing. Just thinking of this longer term, where a bigger player is going to step in, where are they going to step out, where do they want to load in, where do they think retail may need to get long or short so they can fade them, get more orders to push it in the other direction, to get more orders to push it up. Yep, you just have to do it consistently over and over and over again. Right? That's the same thing with me with my levels down here with the overnight levels. Right? Although this technically wasn't the exact overnight low, the way structure set up, the real very bottom was, 829, 827. Once we come into here and start setting up this structure, I'm going to go long once you crack through that there. Trust my level. Trust the percentage of the time that works. 70, 80 plus percent of the time, that when you are in an uptrend and you open on overnight lows, the likelihood of you pushing to the upside is much, much greater. Let's say that we were in a downtrend, right, and we're opening on overnight lows. I'm a little more reluctant to take that on the open. I want to see price react from there because, if we're in a downtrend and we're pushing through overnight lows, there's a good likelihood that just continues to sell and push through that low, right? So, you wait for a longer bit of a setup to get that to work out. But today, it was starting to set up right into the open. You could see it winding up Price was refusing to push any lower. You were tightening up price action right into that overnight low, and that pop right off the jump, pretty clean, pretty much took no heat on it except for that like initial dance up and down for the first like 10 seconds. It triggered us in, danced around, and then popped. I was willing to take that risk on it and be good for the day if that was going to be it. But, we played that level. Would love to have gotten up over the overnight high to sweep that level and then rotate back this way. You could have seen that one coming with that breakdown, especially the way Jofi was saying how that 23 level was reacting from the overnight, from previous days. The 914 pre-midnight high was right there as well. So that's an area that I do look at as well a lot of times, that prior to midnight high, which was right there. It's a good rejection point. So there's a lot of confluence there for that to reject. I drew this trend line up just to visualize it. It's not necessarily anything that's going to be reactive, but it seems to be playing out quite a bit lately, where these patterns at key levels, if you start to wedge into the support level, you break it and you go 10, 20, 30 points in like a blink. So if you're willing to just take your money and go, right, or get into this at the break and then be either straight at break even, trail it, however you want to manage these types of positions. But usually that quick first break gets you a pretty good opportunity to secure like $200 without much issue, right? 12 to 90, right there. I think, let's see, if Microsoft is, MSFT, Microsoft dancing around still up over these highs. If Microsoft continues to make new highs on the day, then I would anticipate our, equities indexes to continue to push up. However, I don't think that, it's too strong because NVIDIA is trying to push lows. It's been stuck in this range here between basically low of the day and high of the day of 128.20 up to 129.88, 130. 130 is going to be the very high of aftermarket hours yesterday, pre-market today. I'll be here till about 11. I might get off a little early just because I got to do some coffee work. But otherwise, I'm up 419. I've been in a kind of streak of losing, and I want to get out of that and to be able to secure that first trade of the day. And then in the first minute, if I were trading by myself and this were a funded account or a few funded accounts there, I would have locked out and been done. Absolutely, no problem, Jofi. I'm glad you caught that move. That was really nice. I would definitely take a walk after that and enjoy whatever it is you need to do. I would get off and, kind of reflect on that as well, that it was really great trade management for you. Even though you got in late, you were in with a few micros, you were able to shed some along the way and keep that last runner, structurally sound. Nothing told you to get out until that 900 level broke, which is pretty clear. Obviously, like that could have continued to roll over and been all the way at break even. But same to you, Jofi. Enjoy the Dubai life. I should be on a little longer, but we'll see how long I do last with this price action. Probably going to start to slow down a bit. It is now 9 o'clock. We are getting into, the lower volume is going to continue to, the volume is going to keep going away as the day goes on. Normally Tuesdays are my lower win rate days. I don't know what it is about my first day off. Maybe it's just not being aggressive on certain price action because I usually see the market very well. It's just not being quick to the draw. Maybe sometimes where I just miss out on some. But being up 419 so far across 3 different accounts, very good. Let's see. Hell yeah, good job. Same deal. I'm up 419 times 3. It's a beautiful day.
We're at a family night. Introducing a brand new board game sure to have the whole family saying, "Let's do a chance. It's fun for the whole family. Roll the dice."
That's great. All right. I'm trying to just give myself a few minutes of chilling here for a second. All right. Let's see what happens with this. If NVIDIA can flush the low of the day, then previous day highs does make sense. I would like the VWAP to get up over this and be kind of like trailed up, and then you're breaking through VWAP, breaking through previous day highs. That would make a little bit of sense for a reacceptance short, just for a quick short. Nothing like I don't think a full rotation through the lows happens, but I don't think I trust the first move through it. I want to see what happens with the S&Ps. S&Ps broke through VWAP pretty easily, so let's see if we can get a break, retest. A lot of these breakdowns don't hold, and I get trapped. So let's be careful on it. NVIDIA broke through low. I think we maybe are trapping some shorts here. But overall, that's a really nice short from that high area. This is where the short needed to happen up here. Now down here, it's a little bit of a chase. Not that I don't trust it. I think it does come back here, maybe retest that previous day high and see if we accept or if we reject it, because S&P's is rejecting that previous day high. If this just goes straight down, then there's no entry anyway. Oh, there it is. NVIDIA broke. NVIDIA's broken. Downside it goes. That was a really good short opportunity there. I was talking about the short from 900, didn't take it. Very, very nice, clean breakdown. Beautiful, beautiful move to the downside. Oh, man. The short from the overnight high is really what I wanted. Never got there. I'm not looking to chase on a day where where I made my money in the first minute of the day, right? These are really good opportunities, and it's something that I do want to take. Like I said, I wanted VWAP up over that previous day high for it to be a little bit more convincing. Once I saw... why are you trading? I thought you weren't going to trade, dude. Get off the charts if you went red to green, Ray. Go red to green. Lock it out. Enjoy your baseball trip. I really liked this short from up here. The way NVIDIA was acting was really super heavy. You can see NVIDIA acting really heavy. I was talking about how if it does flush this, then that area does come into play. I wanted this up, maybe a few more ticks to kind of sweep that overnight high, but we never got it. But we got full rotation from 926 basically down to 841 right here where I took my profit before. This could act as support, so watch 841, wick down below it and start to come back up. But that's a very heavy seller. I'm not sure if there was some sort of reason for the break or if it was just a technical break of NVIDIA to the downside. NVIDIA ran right into support from yesterday, and there's a chance that maybe it just kind of cleaned up that rally, and now you watch to see if this pushes back up and through. This was just a technical breakdown, I think, for the most part. I think NVIDIA could come back and retest that 129.12 potentially. Microsoft came back, retested 422.51. That's an area of break or bounce. It's bouncing. I wouldn't trust this to be a short quite yet in the NQs, just based on that Microsoft move right there. If Microsoft does break through 422.51, then maybe that breakdown still comes back, but I don't see it currently doing that. We are pushing towards it again. There we go, 422.50, looking to break it. If it does break it, then overnight lows crack. Do we sweep overnight lows, and do we try the long again from that overnight low? 760 still can come in and get touched, right? I think that 760, if you do get to here, that's a hell of a long idea. I don't think we have any reason why we would want to break I mean, 760, but we do have a trend line of support that you could see down into 700, depending on how quickly we come down. So I would be cautious a little bit, but 760 is a good area for that bounce if it does flush. Let's see what the delta looks like. Heavier delta, not crazy. Opening range low, looking to break, which is pretty much previous overnight low, which is basically right here, 812. Nothing crazy on the time and sales on the book. I don't see anything huge coming in. Russell's melting off, so small caps is selling. The small cap world selling a bit. S&Ps, yep. And Microsoft is holding. Nvidia breaking lows. Nvidia is very heavy. Nvidia can bounce from 126.97, so I would not. I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't trust the heaviness. It is heavy, and I wouldn't try and get in front of it right now. But at the same time, I don't trust it, to be perfectly honest with you. S&P is breaking through that overnight low. Where does S&Ps have to go from there? Down to 56.20 and a quarter. This was really good up here. Lower high, retest 900, breakdown of previous day highs. Failure, reacceptance back into previous day levels. All the way down here is that previous day low. So we have a ways away from that. Opening range was that level that I just deleted. Opening range here for today is this candle right here. It's a little bit wide. I know that that's where I had that overnight low, but technically that's the overnight low right there, 812 quarters. This is 1 minute opening range right there. I think I need to get that somewhere. There we go. I'm just going to go with this. That was 100% an A+ setup. This long right here is A+ every time, due to the fact that it's in an uptrend on. So we're in an uptrend, opening on overnight lows. The delta was diverged completely. We had delta was showing us that it was pushing up while price was pushing down. You could see here price was kind of just acting stronger while price was still pushing down into these lows. You could see how aggressive buyers were coming into the open. Once you got that open, you got that push straight on up. That was good for us. There was definitely no. It was not real. I mean, when you get into this pattern here and if it's the 1 minute, 2 minutes before and it's making slightly new lows, that's technically the pattern, right? You have to understand that it's going to be an overnight low zone, right? You're not going to sweep the low of this at 827. If you wedge out and you break that wedge, there's a really good chance. I've noticed it on multiple occasions where the if we open at or near that overnight low, that first candle gives us that breakout, and we tend to miss it. So I wanted to be aggressive on it today. Nvidia is still heavy. I think 126.97 will be the bounce point right there. 126.97. I threw a VWAP on here. I don't like the way this VWAP looks. It's weird, but it's on there. Nvidia might not make it all the way there. You're starting to get that wedge type idea here again. You would like to sweep that overnight low. It was really only a minute. It wasn't even the first 2 minutes because this is the opening range here. The second minute pushed us up out of that area. Never really ever threatened the low once you opened. I probably could have even caught myself another couple points on the entry, but I did let it break above that high to just kind of confirm the squeeze over that wedge type pattern there. But I can see why you held off 100%. But it's, for me, it's an A plus for sure. And then obviously I could have held it all the way to overnight highs, but I didn't. Obviously, clearly, I'm glad I took it with 2. Holding that opening range, holding that low, Nvidia pushing back up. I think Microsoft holds us up for now, holding above that 422.51. If you're on the YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Help us out on the algorithms. I want to try and grow this as best I can. We did get that money on the first 2 minutes of the day. I was up 400 across 3 separate accounts. We're trying to get fully funded back again. Lost the combines back into lost the funding back into the combines this week and this month. We're showing you how to pass these accounts, how to understand price action, where you're going to think about doing stuff on the open, where you're going to look about waiting and being patient. Talking about the shorts from the highs up here, trying to be rotational. I wanted to wait for VWAP to get up over this previous day high before I got short through it, but it kind of just cracked straight through and rolled down. But overall, I think good dynamics in this market. We could really read them well. I do think that we can still flush this overnight low. If we do, the continuation may be on, like I said, to 760. There is that support where, with that expansive behavior yesterday, I didn't think we were going to get down through overnight lows with the way that we were kind of just grinding up. However, you never say never. If Microsoft does break down through 422, there could be that pressure to push us down into this 760 level, and then beyond from there, right? Somewhere into that zone. I don't think that we go much deeper than that. 700 does make sense for this trend line that's been kind of acting as support over on the 30-minute chart, right? 30-minute support, bounce, 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 pop into these highs. I think that 760 is going to be strong enough to hold us. If not, 700 is a nice, clean, round number. Probably pushes us into this trend line area if it does pull back that far, and how long it takes to get there. If it doesn't, if it's quick, then it might go deeper. If it's grinding and pushes down deep, 760, 700, that area there could be good for prime this up for that rally up and through 20,000. So I still think that 20,000, and if 760 holds, all-time highs come in before that rate decision. You got games in the morning during this tournament? So we're copying 3 times. We made that 419. You do that across 3 XFAs, you're going to have a really nice week. If you do that a couple times, you're qualified for a payout. You're doing a nice job of averaging your winners up pretty much a little bit bigger. Microsoft starting to push back down towards that 422.51. If it breaks 422.51, watch the overnight low break and watch that 760 level. Okay. I thought you were going today for the tournament. Swept that overnight low. I still think that heaviness still comes in. S&Ps is still holding below their overnight low. I think 760 probably wants to get tagged before some longer term buyers, especially after yesterday's squeeze in the end of the day. I feel like that's like a little bit of extension, maybe light volume that it broke through and pushed up. So maybe it wants to clean up a lot of those orders and then push down into, like I said, 784 down to 760. This zone here does seem to be an interesting area. If we hold the overnight low, then good. That's a great play. Normally, I would take that entry, 90% of the time. That's a really heavy delta for me to want to play that first breakdown. That's aggressive sellers right there, pushing through that low. I really don't trust that too much. If you get and start to rotate back above the opening range high and start to work your way back to the upside, then maybe that long idea could come in. I just don't trust it quite yet. Based on the way price worked yesterday, the expansive behavior in an area where, I'm going to be cautious on it. The first time that break, yeah, I'm going to be aggressive on it. This time, this touch, bounce off of it, retest it, flush it, trying to retest it again. I would anticipate a heavier break on the next break through it. I'm not convinced short or long here. I think there's a good chance that we dance around with this area, being that it is that 1 minute opening range. Zuki, pleasure as always. Hopefully you like your coffee. I know you got it delivered. Hopefully everything was good. If your mug and everything, if there's anything that's a problem, let me know. If you love it, let me know. If anything there needs to be adjusted, I always want to make sure I make everything right with the coffee. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you ever get a chance, write a little Google review. Just type in Day Trading Coffee Co. on Google. It should pop up. Should be the only one. Leave us a little 5 stars if you like it. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. I like this heaviness. I don't like it enough to go short because of my failure of overnight low. Like, I don't like to play breakdowns or breakouts. You saw yesterday, my timing on those aren't that great. I do like failed breakouts, failed breakdowns. This would constitute one here. Microsoft is doing a dance with the level that I don't trust it to be a failure yet, right? With Microsoft holding. NVIDIA just cracked. It actually does line up, right? Look at NVIDIA holding 126.97 beautifully. You can go to Microsoft holding that 422. So maybe this long gives you that chance to break to the upside. This is that longer term chart there. So let's go back to here. Nice little bounce from that overnight low. Still, maybe don't trust that this is the immediate play here. I'm going to switch my other chart to NVIDIA so I have both up. I want to see both at the same time. The 30 minute, I want to see it on 5. It'll help me a little bit better. That bounce off 126 was nice, but I think it might go back to it, especially with Microsoft still trying to be heavy at 422.51. It's still pushing down a little bit. I want to be better with timing. NVIDIA, really beautiful bounce off that level. But Microsoft now trying to be heavier. So Microsoft just broke, looking to break the low of 422.35. That may bring us back down through these overnight lows. S&P's is, you can see it's basing, low base pattern. I did say that the level that to the downside to be interested in is 5620, which is not super deep. And then 760 in the NQ, once again, is probably a good area. But if it doesn't, confirm the failure, if you get through this low here and then try to pop back up above 12, then maybe I'll try and take that long, just based on Microsoft and NVIDIA, seeing how they're reacting, to be honest. I'm only going to try the long with one contract if I do get it. I would love to get it down by 760. That's a key area for me. Microsoft and NVIDIA both still dancing around with their levels. I think we could flush this low one time, give you a hard break to 800. If 800 rejects, I want to see if Delta will get, Delta and price are kind of acting together here. If the price starts to catch up, if you get a heavy Delta here, price will probably catch up. If you start to see aggressive buyers step in, then maybe you get that rotation there. So just watching these Delta candles along with price action here. Let's see if we can get a bigger view for you guys. This blue line is the opening range low. Red line is opening range high. That's an auto-populated thing in Quant Tower. Price never made new lows while Delta was trying to. So that's one type of divergence that we do look for. I do see some size sitting on the book at 800, 85 contracts at 800. So that should drag us down towards that 800 number. $800 definitely has orders on the book. You can see Delta broke down. Price still not breaking through that low. It could pop. I'm just watching that Delta a little bit. And Microsoft and NVIDIA both at real key levels. Look at Microsoft right there, just dancing with that. NVIDIA right there, dancing with that key level. I think it feels heavy, though. And then we're right. Everything's at key levels. So, you are wedging here. Maybe a little pop does come in. I want that to flush 800, though, with that big order. If you can get that really hard snap down, and then you can see like a liquidity grab, like that dance candle, you'll notice it. You'll see the price kind of speed up. You can see 50 lots here at 811, down at 800. You still got 20 something, 30 of 65, 63 contracts sitting there. So if 800 fills and bounces, then you might get the rotation through the overnight low. If it does not, then you watch it catch 800 and continue to push through. It's dancing. It's heavy. Feels like it wants to go. Microsoft just broke through 422.51. NVIDIA still holding 126 with actually more strength. So Microsoft doing the opposite once again. Oh, I'll send it over. Give me 2 seconds. Right. Google. Day Trading Coffee Co. Copy that. Here's the review link if you guys have tried the coffee, or if you feel like leaving a review for kind of the trading aspect of it, let me know. That's the link for the Google review page. We always appreciate good reviews. This is still heavy. This is not ready to go upside quite yet. Microsoft did catch a bid back above 422, but then once it did, NVIDIA started to sell. So it seems like Microsoft and NVIDIA are fighting each other a bit. NVIDIA has been heavier relative, right? Microsoft has been pushing up from low to high, using a support here to try and push higher. NVIDIA has been selling off pretty much the whole session so far, right into a key area of support where it's dancing around with this level. I would like to see it break it and then come back up, and then that would kind of get 800 swept, which is trying to do right there, and it didn't. Let's see if 800 goes. Yep, just like Deck says, don't do dumb shit here is what we always say. Don't do dumb shit. Trading in the slow markets is doing some dumb shit. I did see there's this sweep of 800, probably pushes us down to 760. If not, the rotation back above the opening range gives you that idea here for a long, if Microsoft does start to catch a bid and NVIDIA rejects that level. So I will look to buy if it does get up over that area. But that's just a big if. It seems like it's going to finally break and get heavy. So the break and get heavy through 800 probably leads us down to that 84 pretty quickly, which it's just shy of 84 right there. So when you see that big size, you get that draw to it. Lately, it's been drawing to pull it to continue it on. If we could get through here, rotate back up with Microsoft and NVIDIA from their key levels, I think 760, like I said, is that level to watch. Watch for a setup around 760. Watch tilt to get heavy short. Watch the delta divergences, right? All that fun stuff. This break here was perfect to take short. I was talking about that. I wanted more confluence in it to take that short, but it was good. The short here was good. I wanted to see this get a bit higher, get up over that overnight level. We did not catch that. This here, like I mentioned, I kept saying that the heaviness here is not worth trying to go long and play that trade there because it didn't actually have the setup that we needed. 56.20 and quarter just broke on S&Ps. So S&Ps does have a little bit further downside to go. I think into this 18s to 15s right there. But this area here, that 56.20 quarter does make a lot of sense for a bounce on S&Ps. 84 was the level that I saw there, down into 760 also for NQ. NVIDIA broke and is rotating even further. So NVIDIA does have, it's at an area of support from yesterday at around 1130, 126.47, but I don't think that's going to be that important. Down into 126 quarters and then all the way down to 125.34 for NVIDIA for the next area of interest. If it can't get back up over 126.97, 127, because Microsoft's still relatively strong, still holding, it's dancing around with that level. Maybe it's waiting to break even further. 760 down to 700, kind of just talking you through these levels. I'm not executing on these. I probably won't even execute around 760. I do like the idea of it, but if this market continues to stay heavy, I think down to 700, and that's a little bit of wide for me to just kind of look to hammer in, because this probably just tags it in V bottoms, and that's my concern, is to try and take it and go. I would like it to set up, give me this type of pattern, this wedging deal, the same thing that we just got around that opening range, but down here at these lows. Everything that happened yesterday, to me, was correct price action, slow grinding, low volume price action pretty much all day. This explosive behavior wasn't necessary only because it was a technical break of a key level that really led to this. I think that we could grind back and still stay rotational until we get that data from Thursday, right? There's going to be not very much information to come in that's going to lead us, to expand out of where we were, that's going to give us that good information. So like I said, 760 all the way down to 700, even 610 could still be support. NVIDIA is finding support at 126 quarters, and Microsoft swept the low and hasn't really flushed. It's kind of just sitting here at 422.44. So if 760 is going to be the bounce point, we're going to see it kind of happen somewhat soon. If not, it probably flushes and keeps going just based on the heaviness of NVIDIA. I would like to see it flush, kind of dance around. If it just V-bottoms, I really don't have an entry, right? But it would be something to start looking at, right? That's where I like that level to be. This could be a good area for just at least a bounce. Obviously, you went from 60 to 70. It's already 10 points that you could have caught. Obviously, if you're front running it, you're up 20 points already, right? You can see how reactive that is. I kind of anticipated that to happen right there. But for me, being up the way I am and understanding that this is not a A-plus setup, this is not like a super high probability. Yes, it was higher probability than not for it to break and bounce, but it was not something that I'm convinced that it wants to do as a convicted trade, right? It could have easily, if I entered here, it could have easily went down to 40 and, you're out 20 points. immediately. I didn't want to get in front of that, but that did make sense. And I drew that arrow there because I'd say that you could probably go long there, right? I'm not a signal service, and I'm not going to take every trade that I call out because I'm trying to be disciplined to my own A-plus type setups. But realistically, this is where there would be interest for this to happen. When Microsoft gets and holds 422 and NVIDIA holds 126 quarters, 126 even, you get a bounce play. Maybe you sweep this low. I wanted to see, like I said, something like this set up down in this area where we can sweep that 760, start to wedge out, start to get a nice divergence in delta, and then maybe we'll be interested in that. But right now, still not much of any sort of divergence. Everything's acting pretty much exactly the same. Up overhead 790. There's 135 contracts at 790. 790 right there. You can see it. 135 sitting right there at 790. Oh. 790 has 135 contracts sitting on the ask. If you think that they front ran it, then you may be right. I didn't see when it popped up, but we can't see it anymore because it's too far out on the chart. And we are still seeing heaviness in Microsoft finally kind of breaking and holding through that 422, 27-ish level. And and S&P's has a ways to go down to 15, 56.15 right there. Who knows how low we can go. NVIDIA does have its next level, key major structure level for me at 125.34-ish. 34 up to 45. Here's the reason for the breakdown right here. And Microsoft finally broke 422.51. NVIDIA broke through 126.97. You saw the bounce. It was kind of trying to trap us, trying to see if we can get this thing to go long. Never quite made it. Now you're sweeping through those lows. You still have, let's see if that 90 level is showing. It's not. We don't have enough depth of market there to see that level, but there was 135 contracts sitting here at 90. So I'm going to put a little note here. 135 plus contracts on ask. I think that this does pop through 90, through 60 up to 90. It's still too heavy though for me to want to take a bounce. If Microsoft gets over 422.50, then maybe I'll think about it. But until that point, I mean, it's trying to right now. NVIDIA. If NVIDIA gets over 126.70, Microsoft gets over 422.50, then maybe that confirms a little bit of a pop. Microsoft still selling. NVIDIA giving a little bit of a pop. So now that Microsoft has finally broke that big buyer here at 422.50, the likelihood of it reclaiming and breaking back above it, I don't trust as much. So I would want to see it break, confirm, and hold 422.50 along with NVIDIA breaking back above 126.97 before I would even be considering any sort of long idea. I don't really think I want to risk much of what I've made already today, just kind of building on the good habits of the day. Yeah, I'll risk, one contract. I'm not going to take more than one on any sort of play where I would go long through any of these levels. I think still realistically, there's not much telling us that it needs to go short. I talked about 760 being a very key level where support would be. I think it's going to be an important zone of 761 all the way up to 41 and beyond. Microsoft's retesting 422.50. Nvidia's breaking back above 126.61. I wanted to get up a little bit higher, confirm us. Maybe we get one more sweep of the low here, then maybe think about that long from 760 back up to overnight lows, and then see if overnight lows will break and continue on. But I think Microsoft's going to reject here at 422.51. It's very trappy currently. There is lower volume. Volume is ticking up a bit, but nothing crazy. Didn't really get heavy on the tilt to the sell side, so still kind of hard to trust, right? We are getting back above this lower band of VWAP, which could indicate buying coming back in. That level of 90s, that size disappeared off 90s, by the way. 790 no longer has that big size on it, but it was there before, right? I was thinking of taking that 760 up to 790 if I saw that size still there, and I don't see it. It may have disappeared, and now maybe it wants to continue to push up through it. And it seems like Microsoft, like I said, rejected that 422.51 at the moment, but Nvidia is creeping up over 127. You can see right there, Nvidia creeping up over 127.12. And Microsoft back up over 422.51. So that's my area where I want things to be interesting for me to start to consider longs. Maybe overnight low break back above, overnight low, hold. That could be a good area for another idea for a long. I'm not sold on that, though. I did think that this 760 was the low of the day here. I still think that potentially is the bounce point. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I like it. Scotty, well done on the 557 times 3. I liked the long on that 760. It just, the way Microsoft was heavy, the way Nvidia was kind of like middle of an area where I wasn't sure of it, but now seeing it play out, it does make a lot of sense for, exactly what I was talking about from 760 up to 790. That's 30 points, clean, no issues. Didn't take any heat on it. I wanted to see that sweep, the rotation, the pop back above. Really pretty much everything right here was exactly what I wanted to see. I just didn't trust it completely to take it. Scaredy cat surprised. I got you. It does feel like it wants to continue to be heavy, but the play was this one, right? That's really where you want to see that kind of move from 60 to 90, 30 points right there, clean. You got back above, like I talked about, the lower band of VWAP. Once you kind of cleared that from 60, 60 would be here. You could kind of front run that break of VWAP up to 90, even up to 800, good clean moves. Good, clean moves. Microsoft now catching a nice bid. Squeezing through 800 potentially could be a thing. Don't now. I'm not really looking to chase this after that rotation there. I like it a lot. Based on the way it's set up. It's 9:51. A few more minutes until I can't even trade before an hourly close. Anyway, Microsoft back above VWAP. Nvidia still creeping on up. 127.50, little basing type pattern there, an inside candle, trying to create an inside candle here. Yeah, I felt that 760 level kind of coming in and reacting. Let's go NQ. Bang. Here we go. I'll show you. This is the reason why right here, where we wanted to pull back into 760, that big gap range there. This is a 1 minute. Normally I'm showing up 30 minutes up here. Let's go with a 30-minute chart just to show you pretty much what I'm looking at. Big time push down into 760. Nice wicking tail to reject that level. If it gets back up over 41, the bulls step back in and continue us back up to 926. That's it. That's my analysis. Good and done there. Microsoft still pumping. Nvidia rejected its level. Nice little change of direction in Nvidia. Once you crack through that trend, it's up from 125.90 to 127, $2 in the money. Let's see if it rejects this overnight low or if it's going to continue to press up and through opening range. You're starting to see this tightening wedging type pattern a little bit here. It is starting to, like I said, as the day goes on, you can see this volume. We stepped up here on that big sell, and then ever since then, it's just been kind of muted. You can see a little bit bigger volume here, and that was the change of direction, right? Big push down, change direction, lower volume on the way back up. If you start to see a big high volume candle, you may start to see change of direction. There's the push back up to the overnight low. Microsoft approaching higher end of their little VWAP area of 423.15. Looks really nice. I mean, that long from 760, absolute money call right there. So hopefully somebody took this price action here to the long side. I know Scott took it, made some money. I know some other people may have taken it and didn't talk about it, but this is a great area for interest here. Like I said, if I trusted it a little bit more, I would have took the shot at it. Probably should have anyway. A couple $100 towards the goal, but it is what it is. Can't be a beggar. Just do whatever it is that is necessary to keep stepping this up. 50,546, 49,552. Got to get everything back up and green. Start to put some pressure on these combines to make some maximize our funding by September is the new goal. If you are looking to get into a combine, go do your thing, Scotty. You're up $500 on the day on a tough day. I'd say it's not that hard of a day. I pretty much called every high and low so far. But, execution-wise, trusting these moves to have some conviction is difficult on this lower volume. Like I said, summer day. If you're up $400 or $500 on the day, it's not a bad idea to go for a walk. I do think that this area here is interesting. I think that maybe we fail that overnight low and rotate back downside a bit. based on this little pop. 55% long, heavy delta. Now you're going to start to see that breakdown. There you go. From that wedge, 800 rejection. Personally, I don't take any trades within 5 minutes of an hourly close. I get a lot of dancing around. You can see a lot of movement happening here. And that setup did make sense for that short to come in. That's why I was saying the rejection of the overnight low did make sense there based on price action, the way we were wedging out. The delta was getting heavier at that point there. You can see right here how delta started to get heavy faster than price. Then you had just the time of day and everything kind of lining up right there. And Microsoft was getting to highs, so a potential sell-off from that area made sense. NVIDIA approached 126.97 again and is trying to crack through it, so giving it another push and leg to the downside. Let's see what kind of reaction we do get here. If we get a higher low at this 760 level and it's after 10 o'clock, then maybe potentially I'll look for the long rotation back the other direction. But would have to line up with maybe Microsoft 422.50 and NVIDIA re-accepting it back above 126.97 for that rotation back the other way. That would be my ideal setup, like something where price kind of gets into that level there and maybe even gives you a wick below this break, trap some longs, trap some shorts, and then take that level long. That would be nice. See that at 10.05. Not that I'm saying that this is exactly what's going to happen. It could be down into here. It could even be a lower low with a nice strong higher volume breakdown and then a rotation back the other way. That's kind of another thought on it. But even here, 800 down to 74. You're catching 25 points. That's a lot. 20 points here, 20 points there. You could really rack up how much you're making if you're aggressive on these setups. Take them and make yourself some money here on these breakdowns. The breakdown here was pretty clear. I wasn't going to take a breakdown, but I didn't take my failed breakout, right? I didn't take this long here because I was anticipating something like this happening. Maybe moving forward we'll try and time this where we can get that move from the overnight low down to 760 like I was talking about. That was a really clean move there. And then also the long from 760 off. Just trying to only set up, only trade my A+ area setups. And like I said, if we get a secondary push here, either flush this low or make a higher low, rotating back through 760, and Microsoft holds above 422.50, NVIDIA starts to rotate back up again from... It doesn't have to go all the way up over 126. I think if we hold that 126 flat and start to rotate, then that'll be good. It's 9:59. We're going to be entering the last half hour of European trading as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, 10 o'clock. As I mentioned, I want to see like a sweep of 760 one more time. reply to this. All right. 10 o'clock. Depending on how price goes in the next, few minutes or so, maybe I'll get off a little early today. Like I said, I do need to get some coffee work done, along with some other things. The wife's got to go to an appointment. Few things that I need to take care of before today moves on. So I am, like I said, I'm up 419. It's been a difficult month so far as executions are concerned, and understanding, letting my setups play out and doing things the right way. Like, I've been seeing the market really, really well. I've been calling out really nice setups, but for me, personal executions have been poor. So allowing a winning day to kind of start the week back on the right foot and get everything going. Yes, I might not recoup everything from yesterday, but at the same time, I am in a good headspace right now. So, yeah, absolutely, Scott. I'll see you in the morning. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. as always, and we'll do it all again. Hopefully, we can get another first minute of the day, $400 plus move. I mean, I stopped myself out at 41. Could have easily been in, and like Jofi holding all the way up to 900. But personally, like I said, I'm willing to take my money at areas where I thought interest would be, using my key levels. I'm not a greedy person as far as it comes with the, seeing big moves and saying I could have had this much money because I didn't, right? All I want to do is catch my small piece of bigger moves, and we did that there. We caught our small little piece and we moved on. If I can catch more of this and I let it go, that's just something I work on as I move forward. Yeah, I want to see this thing to push down and through. Later, Scotty. See you later. I don't know who this is. I'm not answering the phone. Probably Sirius XM trying to sell me radio. Not a bad first minute of the day. If I can make that money in 1 minute on the day, I pretty much should walk away for the day thinking that, if you're thinking I can make more, I could do this, I could do that, that's pretty much you. That's part of the game. If you are a trader, you want to be here all day, that's your thing. If you want to make this where you're trading and you're done and you can do whatever you want for the rest of your day, then take your money in the beginning of the day and move on. Just because I'm streaming or just because I'm, on the computer doesn't mean I have to execute trades, right? I've sat here and I haven't clicked buttons since that first 2 minutes of this trading session, right? And I talked about these levels, but they didn't quite coincide with the setups that I wanted to see, right? I wanted to see a flush of the overnight high before I rotated down. The one thing we got was the S&Ps got to the overnight high and failed that level. Realistically, once we did that, we could have looked for this break retest here and played that downside. But that's just something that, maybe on another day, you could take that. And we're going to be a little bit more cautious. We're going to, show you how to pass these combines in a more consistent way, right? Yes, we're in a little bit of drawdown on these. It's fine. We're building up slowly but surely on these accounts, and 1 or 2 days in a row of really good catches. Like this one could have been a little bit bigger, but it's fine because I had a plan on where my outs should be. I took my first out pretty quickly to just secure and make sure that I got myself on the board immediately, especially if this was just going to be a wick failure, rotate down. I wanted to make sure I was able to cover my risk pretty quickly, and then I can trail as I see the day moving on. I trailed up to even. I trailed up to 30. I said, as we squeeze through 41, I'm going to be below 40. We got through 41, and I went to 40, and we got wicked out. And then, as you can see, you came up another 20 points from that, and then beyond, obviously. But I probably would have not been able to hold much more than up into here based on the way I trail on certain types of moves, right? Fast moves, fast trails for me. Let's see if we can get this higher low in down through 760 with Microsoft creeping down towards 422 and NVIDIA still doing its little dance around 126. I would like to see this push down lower to make that higher low, but below 760. That would be a nice setup for me to take along. If it doesn't get there and we start to rotate and push up through overnight lows, then maybe that could be where we get the squeeze up into VWAP. I wouldn't be afraid of taking that either, but it would depend on what Microsoft and NVIDIA are doing at the time. Because I would hold 800. I do like the way price is acting. I want to see it sweep 760. I want to see it fail that sweep and then rotate, start to push us back the other way. And I'll take one shot at it. If it doesn't go, I'm not risking, the whole day. I'll risk a $200, half of what I got right now. But that's only if it really sets up. If I see that manipulation, that wick off bottom, higher volume, and then a failure, rotate back the other way. Maybe Delta comes in. Maybe a heavy tilt comes in, right? Delta is already on the lows while price is all the way up here. So you have a price divergence. If you get a sweep of the low with Delta and price still holds up higher, then that's another indication that, aggressive sellers are stepping in, but they're not pushing price any lower than it wants to go. I got to do some K-cup work. I got to do some coffee delivery work. Being up for, 4 and change on the day after, a grind of a day yesterday. Yes, maybe I left some money on the table, but realistically, I'm very happy with doing that in 2 minutes and being done. This is not tradable. This is low volume, crappy sideways action with Microsoft still pushing up, holding above VWAP. NVIDIA is rotating downside, but I think, there is a chance that we make the bounce from anywhere where we're at right now. NVIDIA can just at any point squeeze through that 126 and just continue to rally up. Yeah, by 10:30, I don't see anything. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to start getting to the coffee work. Like I said, the wife has a doctor's appointment. I have to make sure I take care of some of this coffee business before I get going and moving on for the day. I think everybody kind of saw the price action that we needed to see early. There was a lot of opportunity here right on the open for that long, and then the short that we were talking about from the highs up here I didn't end up taking it because it was suboptimal. You know, it was still an A-ish setup, but it wasn't that A plus. I talked about maybe the breakdown of this down and through here. I wanted VWAP up over the previous day high before I took that short, but it just melted right through it, and that was a nice clean breakdown. The way it worked out there. So two pretty good opportunities for one on the long side, one on the short side. And then again, that third opportunity, high probability bounce play here, right there on that sweep of 760 to rotate back up to overnight lows. That kind of called it an end really for like the super high probability. If we sweep that 760 again and start to show that rejection, potentially you may have that rotation back up to VWAP again. But I don't know. I'm not really convinced, to be honest, on any sort of really bigger moves that I can capitalize on small pieces of, right? This is the one where I really probably should have took that long there. And this short here was talked about. The reason I didn't take this long is because I expected this short to come in. And because I expected that short to come in, could I have taken it? Absolutely could have. But like I said, I'm looking for those A plus home run like setups where I'm going to take no heat. Not that it's a home run as far as like dollar amount per trade, but an A plus home run type setup, pitch right down the middle, hanging slider, something where you could just take a good swing at it, really take no heat. If you miss it, so be it. If you hit it, great. You know, worst case scenario, you're looking at a small loser or a break even on that type of trade. And that's what I wanted to see kind of build up. Microsoft is kind of giving you a wedging pattern here, but it's really on lower volume. There's nothing crazy going on over there in Microsoft, NVIDIA as well. You know, I would be hesitant if I was anybody shorting these names, just because when it is this slow, there is a pop opportunity for names like NVIDIA and Microsoft based on their, you know, value, but they are expensive stocks. So this is what I was talking about as far as high or low is concerned, but this is not helpful. this here is not going to help us out very much. If you want this to get through here, and we could touch this, then rotate back up. If this pops up here, then I would think that the short maybe comes in. This is where price builds up, then pushes, it squeezes. NVIDIA, like I said, I would be cautious if you were looking to short NVIDIA or Microsoft. There's NVIDIA running towards that 126.90s, 127. If it cracks that, watch for the push to the high side. Same thing, Microsoft holding on top of that VWAP, looking to push and pop up. It does have room to the upside, but also, like I said, it could push right into that 422.50 again. Now we're back here at this chart. The first area of interest is overnight lows. See if it cracks through it again. Higher low. Do we make a higher high? We got 15 minutes left in this Euro session. So watch out for these levels to kind of maybe be reactive. But like I said, still very low volume. This one broke on higher volume. This one was a little bit higher volume. And now we're starting to creep back down. Could be a failure. You could, if you're somebody who's playing a range, if you re-accept back into this, 93 down to 73, there's 20 points. I'm not taking that. A little dead air time. Not much. This is not conducive to good trading here, right? Yes, you may have higher lows here. Yes, you might start to turn to the other side. I think that the long from 760 was the right play. Does it rotate all the way back to VWAP? Possibly. NVIDIA is still accepting over 127. Microsoft's still holding over VWAP, but VWAP is pretty much completely sideways. So you're still getting lower volume, sideways price action across the board in equities, indexes, I should say, and then in the big Mag 7 names there, right? Russell has been pushing downside, S&Ps and NQ, below opening range, but are threatening to push back up over it. Once you got below this lower band of VWAP, the rotation back to VWAP makes sense, right? That's capitulatory, sweep, rotate, a little bit of a cup and handle type thing, but it's really odd looking. Super heavy delta. There's your delta like sweep of the low, never made a new low in price, and then there's your rotation back up higher. But overall, like I said, not much more that we want to see. I'm going to get off at 10:30 here. If anybody has any questions or anything like that they want to go over, let me know. I will go through it as best I can while I'm here. I am going to take care of some coffee stuff, and like I said, the wife's got to go to the doctor. I got to make sure I'm available. Watch the young man. I don't want to do too much else. I want to continue my base hit, build slowly and steady back into all the combines and back into funding. So come September, we can start to really make big moves in the withdrawal space, right? I don't really care, too much about anything but pulling the money out of the market. I'm getting interested on that overnight low. Although we are well away from it on the S&P, so still relatively weak here. Looks like Microsoft just cracked a little bit to the downside. If it breaks 422.50, watch for the break of this to sweep us down to that 760. Yeah, this is not something I want to trade. This is good. I like to dance around with overnight lows. This is a very good area of interest. It could be a squeeze location, especially if one of these names starts to pop even further, NVIDIA or Microsoft. I think that's what we're really relying on right now. Overall, S&P's is super weak compared relatively, right? We're right on overnight lows here, and S&P's is pretty far off from their overnight lows. 56.20 and a quarter, something I was interested in seeing if it was going to push up above and hold. It hasn't quite done that. Maybe if we get up over the overnight low here in the NQ, you're going to start to see it push. If not, then you might sweep into here, get into that opening range, that 1 minute opening range, and rotate down. Kind of reviewing what I was seeing today on the reason why I took this long immediately on the open. Right, I took this trade here long at 19.822, just above this candle right there. I got my entry in just to make sure I kind of confirmed that it was going to go to the long side and not manipulate me in and out, up and down. So we have been kind of in a longer term uptrend, not longer term, medium term uptrend. We did a good job of pulling back off overnight highs and opening on overnight lows. The opening on overnight lows in an uptrend, statistically speaking, has worked out quite a bit. It's more likely to happen than not if it opens on the overnight lows that we're going to start at least with a pop to the upside. I would love to see it to VWAP and then further like we saw today. The only issue I had was that 841 level was a really key area of interest, long term. That's my longer term level that I watch. So that 41 level is where I trailed to. I got wicked, which is fine. Made our 419 and moved on. Obviously, you see we pushed all the way up to highs. I'm not somebody who's like a FOMO person here where I'm like, oh man, I could have caught all of that. Yeah, I could have caught a little bit more if I was a little bit more maybe down below where I took my first out. But overall, like I said, this is just, coming into 41 and maybe wait for these candles to close and trail every minute. Then you probably get stopped out right around there at 52. So maybe catch 10 more points, which is, not bad. I wouldn't be mad at it, but it's not something that I'm going to lose sleep over on the way I manage it. I like that. If I could do that times 3 every single day, I'll be a very happy person, right? That's just something that is a good opportunity time and time again, right? Now we're starting to look to see if this breaks down through this overnight high, overnight low, and cracks through this trend, this uptrend, then maybe you start to see further selling into 760 and then watch for that. NVIDIA is curling back towards the downside and Microsoft is pushing towards 422.50. We are closely approaching that 1030 time. That is really where you're going to get that euro close. You're going to get some movement happening around there. I have noticed at 11 o'clock when I get off, there is some decent movement as well. I'm probably just going to lock out. I don't really want to get involved at this point with the low volume day. Getting up, just shy of $500 basically per account across 3 accounts. If I do that on an XFA day in and day out, you're not going to hit that much, every single day, but, give or take roughly being consistent on it and locking out and not doing dumb shit, that's going to keep you in and long term, allow you to take the payouts like we did last month. This month, obviously, August sort of kicking butt for a lot of people. So it's just a matter of if you do this in the first 2 minutes, why not just walk away? You're just going to look to see, oh, can I get more? Can I get more? Can I get more? If you have that mentality, have a drawdown, right? Have a rule where you set into place, if I go up X number of dollars, or if I take a plus trade that works out pretty well and I'm up, pretty good already in the first 2 minutes of trading, how much am I willing to give back? What am I willing to risk to continue to trade for the day, right? Let's say I made this trade here, I made $420. I'm up 420 and I see this A plus setup coming in. We get up over the overnight high. I'm willing to risk, let's call it $200 of it. If I lose on that 200, there's no reason to re-enter, hammer in, just walk away, right? Take that loser move. Now, say you win that trade, you're a little bit, able to trail that out a little bit looser. Maybe you go to break even and see how much you can make out of it. Then you have that chance that you can make that full move, trail it out really loosely as you move through the day, and then you have that opportunity to double up. Now, say you catch that move and you're in, how much of that are you willing to give back? All right, maybe only $200 still, right? You catch this, you get 400, you catch this, maybe you're up close to 1,000. Maybe you don't want to, maybe you hit off on $1,000, you walk away. Have a walk away number, have a number where if you're up X number of dollars, you're really seeing the market well, market conditions are really conducive. How much am I willing to risk of what I've made today so I don't go green to red and then start to FOMO, panic, revenge trade, do all those things that are going to get you into some trouble moving forward. So trying to continue to build those good habits. I think we've been seeing the market really well. We've been calling out a lot of really good executions, a lot of really good levels. Personally, over the past few weeks, I haven't executed perfectly, but talking through levels and understanding dynamics between the S&Ps, the NQ, Microsoft, NVIDIA, seeing a lot of what's going on and working it all together has really been pretty good. And like I said, I think down to 760 probably puts you in low of the day there. And then all-time highs are going to come in prior to that rate decision. If it doesn't, I would be very surprised. And if it doesn't, I would expect a capitulation to it after that rate decision and then see if you're going to get that sell-off for the buy the rumor, sell the news type deal. Microsoft did just break through 422.51, looking to break down further. I'm going to stay on for 4 more minutes and then be done for the day. I appreciate everybody coming by. If you do want to get a membership for Tradecaster, start getting into all the other lobbies, take advantage of the boot camp, take advantage of everything that you can utilize within here. Use my code PolicingPips. It gets you 10% off all memberships. Head over to the coffee company, Day Trading Coffee Co. You can check out the write-up. I do that every Sunday, kind of get you prepared for what kind of week you're going to have ahead of you. At least just gives you the groundwork, the framework. Oh, while you're there, check out the coffee. Use my code also, Policing Pips. It will get you 15% off all coffee forever. That's just, everything on there. Shirts, hats, mugs, anything you want. Don't do dumb shit. Make sure you get over there and check it out. Also, if you want to get a combine before I no longer have my affiliate code, click over to the Top Step code. I'll give it to you in a second. Shorten this, copy this. If you go over here, use this code, use this link, it'll get you the best pricing for Top Step, whatever they have going on at the moment. And then it'll show them that I am trying to send people there. Like I said, with the coffee company, we are trying to start the funding fund where a portion of our profits goes to funding underfunded traders, giving away combines, starting to load into cash accounts with trading Lightspeed, right? We have a partnership with Lightspeed where you can get really good rates, but also we want to send people that way in order to get more good partnership behavior between us and them, so we can, when we do want to give away the accounts, it'll be something that will work out really nicely. So now you're seeing the break, right? That overnight low failed to break out. Microsoft broke lows. Nvidia is trying to turn around. We're pushing into that 10:30 close of the European session. So I would expect some of this to happen here to kind of give you some heaviness, and then see what happens with that level. Once again, like I said, I'm going to stay on until 10:30, 2 more minutes here, and then I'm going to lock out my account. I'm going to see if there's going to be like a really A-plus, sweep of this low really quick or something like that I want to take advantage of at 10:30 immediately, but probably unlikely. So I'm not going to lock out until that happens, because you are sweeping the low of the day in the S&Ps, but relatively strong in the NQ. Still relative strength in the NASDAQ, even though Microsoft's selling. Nvidia is holding above 126.97, which is 127 basically even, trying to creep back to the upside. Is this a trap? Is this a break, retest, rotate down? That's something to be wait and see, right? Because this was consolidated, crappy price action. Could just be coming right back into here to do the same thing over and over and over again to kind of trick people into being liquidity. Microsoft is getting heavier now, trying to break low of the day. I think it can crack low of the day. If it does, it goes down to 421 even. So watch out for Microsoft down to 421 even. See if that happens. If not, if it holds low of the day, bounce back up over 422, you probably get a rotation back to overnight highs. One more minute. I appreciate everybody coming by. As always, I'll be here. If I can, I'll be here. If I don't have the chance to get on, I will let you guys know. If not, we had that first trade. Really, I took my trade and was done in 2 minutes on the day. So anywhere where you can make $420 across 3 accounts in 2 minutes, you let me know, right? Because in theory, once we're practically full funded, for September, we do something like that where we see that opportunity, we hammer it, we take it, we're done for the day, right? You're gonna take $1,200 out for that day and go enjoy the rest of your life. Try and do some more things that are going to be beneficial to you. Learn to balance trading life and regular life, because trading is stressful. Even when you're doing well, it's a little bit stressful, right? So just note what's going on right now. It is 10:30. You got that little bit of a bounce, break, retest up to 800. I still think that 760 may play a role in the day. Also, like I said, if we start to rotate back up with Microsoft failing to break low of the day, if it gets over 422, I would anticipate, if it still stays range bound, that up into 900 does come back into play at some point. And then beyond 20,000 probably isn't crazy to think will happen. All right, I'm gonna lock out so I don't get that feeling to come in later, trade, do anything stupid. want to build these good habits day in and day out. We do this every day, even though we drew down yesterday. We make 400 here, 300 there, 200 there, 1,000, 1,500. By September, you're back fully funded, 5 full accounts, ready to go when there's actual good price action to trade, healthy action, less algos, and more actual participants. Still some algos, obviously, but more market participants to be involved. So until tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., I'll be here. Like I said, check out all the links. Do me a favor, support the channel. Click the like button if you are so inclined on YouTube. If you're in Tradecaster, subscribe. And then when the thing ends, give me a little 5-star review. I think we do a really good job in here with rating. Excuse me. With levels, talking you through psychology, talking you through why price is going to do X, Y, and Z as it's doing it, and understanding what kind of day it is, right? Giving you the whole market outlook and trying not to be, any sort of signal service, just giving you the chance to make your decision around levels, around kind of what I'm seeing through each and every part of the day, right? And as of right now, I think the rest of the day is going to be more of this and less of this. So the opportunities came early. Now it might get a little trappy, lower volume, Euro's closed. You might get a push, you might get a rally, you never know. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking to do any of that, so I'm going to lock out. Yes, lock me out. All done for the day. I will see you guys all tomorrow, 8:30 Central Time. Be there, and we'll do it all again. Until then, peace out.